everybody. Good morning to you all. Today is, of course, the Tuesday edition of Box Seats. I'm your host, Frank Holder. Of course, I'm sitting here with the comedians known as Talent and Fig, who've been in comedy since I was single with no kids. That's how long they've been in comedy.
It's been long.
Yeah, it's been a long time, man. Let's see. They've been in comedy films. Let's see, comedy specials, comedy commercials, toured the world, even went to Army military bases. Man, these guys have been all around the world. Now they are sitting right up on a sports talk show where we do nothing but talk sports. Talent, Fig, how you doing, bro?
A-okay, brother. A-okay over here. How you up, Fig?
Man, let me tell you something. If I started complaining, I'd be lying to you.
Fig, I think I'm gonna need you to go in and out real fast because you're not clear. So you need to do that in and out real fast. We'll bring you right back in as soon as you go in and out.
Go to the bathroom. Go to the bathroom, Fig.
Unless you can see Fig perfect. Can you see Fig clear? Can you see?
No, he pixelated.
Yeah, he's pixelated.
Oh,
so anyway,
really?
Yeah. So go in and out real fast. We'll bring you right back. Anyway, let's jump into the show real fast. I'm gonna do the COVID report in about a second or two. But let me just say this, man. And what the top story that I saw that a lot of people aren't talking about is that the Dallas Mavericks, they fired one of their management guys by the name of Tony Ronzone because in July he had sexual assault allegations, whereas he forced himself on this woman by kissing her, groping her, feeling her private parts. You know what this is, Talent. It's the usual. It's the usual when a woman files allegations. Now this woman, whose name is not revealed, she is suing the team, she's suing the manager, and she's suing Mark Cuban separately. So when you hear about all this stuff, I mean, I know you can't be surprised about all this, but this is where we are. What's your thoughts on this?
And how is it possible that somebody can sue so many things at one time, like separately? Like, if you have a lawsuit, I get it. I'm assaulted, I'm suing, but to break down when you said Mark Cuban separately, I'm trying to understand that. Like, how is that legally possible and allowed? You know what I mean?
Right.
I think that's crazy. I mean, by all means, if you're assaulted, go for yours, bring these people to justice in more ways than one. But at the same token, I just don't understand how you can separately have a lawsuit for the same thing as per against like Mark Cuban. I don't get that.
But what's your thoughts on the sexual assault allegations against the NBA franchise team?
Well, I mean, it's gonna. I think those type of things, unfortunately, man, it seems that we are living in a climate where I don't know if people are mixed reading messages or they're just gung ho doing and taking what they want. It's never a good thing. I don't care if it's the NHL, the NBA, working for Coca-Cola or FedEx. I don't care where it is. It's never okay to just assault somebody. I think it's
right. All right, Fig, let me give you the context of what we're talking about. The Dallas Mavericks fired Tony Ronzone following a July sexual assault allegation by a woman who says that Tony Ronzone, he forced himself on her, he forced himself kissing her, he groped her, he grabbed her in her private parts, things like that. So she's turning around. She's suing Tony Ronzone, she's suing the Dallas Mavericks and the NBA, and she's also suing Mark Cuban overall. When you hear about that, tell us what your thoughts process is.
That's an attorney fishing for the deepest pockets. When you add everybody into a lawsuit and it's about money, you just throwing something against the wall and you're trying to figure out who sticks. So it's him, it's Mark Cuban, it's the Dallas, the NBA. Whoever wants to make it go away first is the person that's gonna pay the biggest bucks, and she'll get a payday. And the guy Tony, he owns a pizzeria, so he's gonna be fine. You know what I mean? Tony Ronzone, I think he's part of the Ronzone Corporation. So if he gets fired from basketball, he's gonna be fine because he can still make pizza. And we love pizza.
The funny thing is, when I saw that name, I thought of pizza too. So I knew one of y'all was gonna say something to do with pizza. I knew that was coming, man. That joke was one of those jokes that was just laid out there for you. Just here you go, carved up in a silver platter. You know what I mean? Let's talk about this other thing. I saw the press release last night, and I know you guys now have seen it. Vanessa Bryant is not renewing her contract with Nike. Now, here's the for those of you sitting at home and you might have saw the story, you might not have. Here's the context. The Nike contract with Kobe Bryant and the Kobe Bryant estate expired at midnight last night. That's the thing. Kobe Bryant and his wife Vanessa since 2013 have been complaining with Nike about the way Nike has been rolling out the Kobe Bryant Mambas and the Kobe Bryant, anything to do with Kobe Bryant. They have been complaining to Nike about their problems that they have. Nike, in turn, has somewhat addressed some of their issues. So now Vanessa Bryant has said that in a statement last night, she said, I'm going to move on with what Kobe's been saying and everything else, and we're going to launch our own brand because here's the two big reasons, Talent. I'm going to start with you. She said the Kobe Bryant Nike sneakers, they always sell out too quick, and there's not very enough. It causes incidents in the community and stuff like that. So she's upset with that. And there are never, ever any children's sizes. So she said, according to what I've been reading from the Washington Post, is that she wants the Kobe Bryant brand to be its own brand, number one, and for children to be able to get the sizes. And she doesn't like she's following the sneaker culture, and she cannot stand the people who be fighting over the sneakers, and there's never enough sneakers available to people who want, the whole thing. Because we all know the sneaker thing is a serious issue. People get killed with these sneakers thing. You know what I mean? It's serious. So when you hear all that, and you hear that Kobe's now new legacy is about to be his own brand of sneakers, what's your thought, Talent?
I have good thoughts about that. I feel good about that. I'm happy, first of all, because it seemingly gives Vanessa something to do. You know what I mean? Like her own, this is her own venture that she can champion and make it, her own A to Z. Because, we all know when you got a deal with Nike, I've been in a couple of meetings saying, I like this, I don't like that. Can we do this? Can we do it? Other than that, it's not a busy thing. But to run your own in the name of, your husband's a great iconic figure. His kids are coming up in the game of basketball. I think it's awesome. And to have community awareness on top of that. Mm-hmm. On top of that, not to just say, we're just going to do these sneakers, like to take notice and say, you know what? I'm tired of seeing the kids fight and kill each other over these sneakers. We need to do something about that. We probably said it to Nike. We feel like in the past few years, nothing was done or acted on. So we're going to take it and have 100% decision making. Because we all know when you sign to a bigger company, you don't have 100% decision making. Right. Now you do.
Right. Well, with the brand and everything else, not only does she do that, she can control how many. If some stores run out, she can fill them in right real fast. I'm gonna bring up another question I have about this in a second. Fig, what's your thoughts?
Kudos to her, man, to Vanessa Bryant. I'm all for our people having their own, their own brand, their own stock into a company. Partnering with these manufacturers that actually make the brand. I'm with that 100%. She has full control. The one thing that I may disagree with ever so slightly, it's horrible that kids in our community kill each other over the sneakers, but supply and demand is really what makes your product valuable. The more you have, the less valuable they become. So I think that's why the Nike Corporation only made a certain amount, trying to create what you would call a frenzy to get people to buy and to buy at a higher level. I think to me, that's just a business tactic. But the fact that she's going to own her own company, her own sneaker brand, I'm for that 100%. Our community needs to get behind her and support her 100%. I wish they would have got behind Starberry when he came out with his sneaker brand. And you can say whatever you want about the Ball brand, the BBB, the Big Baller brand, but I was all for that too, to be successful. I'm always for our people owning their own thing.
Now, let me say this. Let me throw this out there in the mix to both of you all. When Vanessa Bryant is doing this and everything else, it seems that she said that Kobe and her have been talking about it since 2013. Now, that's a fact. Now, the thing is, if she does do this and everything else, can she set a trend for the other NBA players? Because Kobe's name is almost as big as Michael Jordan's name in itself. Do you think it could set a trend with other NBA players' talent for them starting their own brand and stepping away from like the Nike endorsements and Adidas endorsements, just creating their own brand itself? Because we all know, it's one thing to be walking around with Nike's by Kobe's signature brand and LeBron's under Nike. But if now LeBron creates his own shoe and he follows behind Kobe's own shoe, I mean, that literally can change the market, I think. What's your thoughts, Cal?
Well, I think you got to understand something. The perfect way to do it is the way that it is happening for Kobe right now. You come in to something cutting a deal because these people are conglomerates and they've been doing it for umpteen million years and they kind of have the game on lock. You learn the game from the inside. And then after a certain amount of years or contract years with them, you eventually should go up. It's just like we talked about seeing these players become owners or having some sort of ownership in the game, whether it's football, basketball, because you put all this time in here, you have to learn it to go here and take it over. I've done that with management agencies, with marketing agencies, all that stuff. The first 10, 15, 20 years, I'm under somebody else's umbrella to learn it from the inside out. I think that's a great idea and recipe for players to do going forward. Absolutely. At some point, you should own your own brand. That's the point. We work in comedy clubs 2/3 of our career, and we learn it from the inside out. So, okay, now I know how to run this A to Z, open to my own. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I agree with that one. Fig, your thoughts?
I'm for it 100%, man. LeBron, listen, before Michael Jordan signed on to Nike, nobody knew who Nike was. I mean, maybe a handful of people, but certainly not to the level that it is now. People were wearing Converse and Adidas. And Nike really was not a big name as it is today when Michael Jordan first put them on. As a matter of fact, if you saw The Last Dance, Michael Jordan, he didn't even want to go to the meeting. If it wasn't for his mother, Michael Jordan had never even met with Nike. And who knows where we would be now with the Jordan brand as iconic a shoe that it is. So I'm all for us getting our own thing. I think that she should. One person, you got to learn how to do it. The one person that I know who is not big here in America, his shoe brand, but in Asia, he's like a god. Is Marbury, Stephon Marbury. He went over into Japan, played basketball. He got a statue, great business out there and stuff like that. If you want to talk to somebody who's on the inside and knows how to get a shoe manufactured at a high level, the same way these other corporations are doing it, Marbury is the one, man, because he's over there where they manufacture the stuff anyway. So that would be somebody to talk to. I'm all for the LeBron, the Kobe, like whoever that is popular. Get your own brand.
Well, Stephon Marbury, he won while he was over there, so that's helped trigger the whole thing of the sneaker brand. But I guess the question I was asking you two, and I'm not sure if you guys really answer. I understand what you're saying, but if Kobe does this and is successful, and LeBron does this and is successful, I think it could literally spill the apple cart. That's my point. I'm trying to.
No, I answered it. What I told you is yes. We both said yes. We agree with it. But what I did was broke it down to you, Frank. That if they're smart, they don't just jump into their own sneaker because that's a fail. What you do is anything you want to venture into and own on your own, you learn it from the inside out, and whatever year you feel you're ready, then you venture into doing your own ownership. Look at Kobe. Kobe ain't even alive by the time he's owning his own shoe. You understand what I'm saying? Even LeBron, if he was to wake up tomorrow and say, I'm doing my own shoe, look how many years LeBron signed before he even touched the NBA basketball with Nike.
Yeah.
So my thing is, it can work. And I'm like, I like the idea of what you're saying. But hopefully they're smart enough to come in and do it gradually in a way that it works for them. Because grand opening, grand closing, that's a thing.
Yeah.
If you don't learn it right, that's a thing, bro.
But imagine this, though. Imagine if right now Kobe can do it, but if Kobe Kobe and LeBron doing this right now, I guess my point is if I'm the shoe guys, the sneaker guys, I'd have to be really concerned with what Vanessa did last night, especially if her camp ends up talking to LeBron saying, listen, this is what we're doing, and we want to start to set this thing because the sneaker buzz thing is crazy. You know what I mean? And LeBron's can't. I guess what I'm just trying to say is the 1-2 punch of Kobe and LeBron, it's a wrap. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a wrap.
You know how you protect yourself against that. If you're worried about that, you protect as a corporation. You start profit share.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm agreeing with both of you guys 100%. The only reason that I brought up Marbury is because he's in a place where they actually do the manufacturing. So I'm not just talking about why his sneaker is popular. I was just talking about where it's being manufactured, and he has those connections already. So if you're going to do your own thing, okay.
But he did that. He did that before. Here's the thing: Marbury started his shoe before he went there, right?
No, I wasn't disagreeing with Fig. I wasn't disagreeing with what you said.
No, I'm saying to Fig that just so Fig knows, he started it here, on the Knicks. And then what happened is when he left here and went overseas, it just went to another level because, like you said, he's where the manufacturing game changed. But the thing that's synonymous with Marbury and Vanessa Bryant is they both took a second to give a damn about the community. Marbury's whole point was making an NBA player's shoe that wasn't breaking the financial backs of the moms of these kids. Vanessa's seeing the same thing, saying, yo, these kids are killing each other because of supply and demand. I don't want to see that.
Right. But here's the difference. Here's the difference between Vanessa and Marbury is Kobe is a much bigger star than Marbury is worldwide. And
absolutely.
Make a big difference.
I only mention him is because he was able to get his manufacturing done in the same factories that some of the big sneaker brands were being done. But because he did it himself, he was able to bring it back here and sell it for an affordable price for like $12 or $20 instead of like $100 or $50 or $75. He was able to give you the same quality for a price that the people in our community could afford, sort of along the same lines as what Vanessa Bryant is trying to do. Not so much bring the price down, but make it to. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm waiting.
Go ahead, Frank.
No, I'm waiting for you to finish.
No, I'm saying that I think that she's trying to control the manufacturing so you can cut out a lot of the violence that happens over them. And with her being able to do it that way, I think she can. And it would be great to see LeBron. I think even I was reading something about Allen Iverson was upset with Reebok because they wasn't even like putting his stuff out. And Allen Iverson is iconic. Like, I would buy a pair of AIs right now.
Yeah. And the thing is, though, let me just say this. Everything you said is right, except I think I'm going to double check on this. I think that the price get enamored, exuberated when they get here because they create the price. Like, you could ship it still here and still have the same price. It's just that Nike ends up saying, okay, now we're here, let's put $100. You know what I mean? Because it only costs $1 to make those sneakers. And then you add another 50 cents and drop it here. Once you do that, you could say, like, I think Shaq did the same thing. You could literally say, okay, these sneakers will be $20. They don't do that. Then they as soon as they get here, they shrink on supply and demand, and then they say, you know what? Now let's charge these, $200 for these sneakers, $150 for these sneakers. You know what I mean? They could literally change the whole market. But with what they're doing. But let's move on because we could talk about the sneakers thing forever and a day. You all know we could do that because the sneakers thing is thing. Let me talk about. I got to talk a little bit about Major League Baseball because the Phillies now have moved 3 players to COVID-19 protocols, and the word is leaking out that there is going to be several other teams that have some players who's coming down with COVID-19 protocols, from the Red Sox, the Yankees, and the Astros. No confirmation about that yet, but we all know they're playing regular, like they regularly do. And that's what's happening. The Dodgers also are now the best. They have the best record in the majors. They're 13-4. And people are talking about the Dodgers team talent has the best team ever, and I mean ever, to play the game. Now, mind you, that it's only 13-4. But the experts are saying, hey, they got the best team ever all time. Talent. Do you think it's possible to even make that
No, I'm getting tired of this best ever already. Like,
me too.
Why do we always throwing this best ever question up? Like ever is a quick word. We say ever like it's 30 minutes long. Is he the best ever? You know how long ever is? If people still living happily ever after. That's how long the word ever is, fam. Like, I don't get it. No, my answer is no. Is way too soon. To be the best ever at anything, you have to consecutively and consistently do a lot of great things back to back to back to back. You know what I mean? To be the best ever, to outshine how someone may have done it 10, 15, 20 years ago. That's no, absolutely not. Not too soon.
All right, Fig, what's your thoughts?
You know, the ironic thing is that I believe Major League Baseball plays 182 games. They haven't even played 20. They're 14-3. We didn't even get 20, not even 20 games in. And all of a sudden, they're the best ever. Well, let me tell you who the best ever is. The Yankees. The Yankees organization is the best ever. Because out of the 100 and some odd years that Major League Baseball has been played, they have 27 World Series. So if you want to start talking about the best ever, let's talk about the Yankees. Because right now, the way the standings are with all of the teams, the Yankees are the best ever because they have more wins than any other organization in Major League Baseball. That you can say right now, the Yankees are the best ever. But we're going to talk about the Dodgers, 17 out of 182. No, they're not the best ever. No.
Yeah, I think it was the Yankees in 1918 had 100, and I want to say it was either 114 or 124 wins out of 182, and nobody's come close since. People have got 105, 108, 100, but nobody's got 120 wins except the Yankees in 98. And I remember that year that they were killing everybody that year. That was a hell of a year. Now let's move on because time. I didn't expect to spend so much time on talk about sneakers. I wanted to talk more about baseball, but we got to move on because I'm looking at the time. We got to talk about my man Steph Curry. We all know Steph Curry's on this historic run. Yesterday we talked about him talking about MVP and NBA and how the NBA calls the MVP. This morning I wake up. I do my usual I normally do. People are saying right now this morning because Steph Curry has hit 72 3-pointers in his last 10 games. The NBA should change. Hear this word. They should change, the normal and consider Steph Curry the MVP, even though the Golden State Warriors is not winning, not leading in anything right now. Do you agree with the NBA and the sports writer assessment of at least considering Steph Curry to be the league MVP because he's on a huge historic tear right now? And right now, everybody is saying that he's the best shooter of all time. What's your thoughts on this, talent?
That's like saying because you got your stimulus check, you rich. No. That's just something going on right now. Everybody hit a run. I've been looking at stats for Joel Embiid's last 6 games, Julius Randle last 6 games, Steph Curry last 6 games. This one, that one, and the third. Damian Lillard. When you look at every Twitter line every day on Twitter, somebody, two or three players in the league from the game of nights before are in there with that. Oh, look at their last 5 games. Look at their last 6 games. It's a whole season. We have to sit down and come up with this. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't think it's fair to jump there. And I know people probably feel sorry for him because you have a lot of people that love the Golden State Warriors, and he hasn't had a full healthy team with him in a minute. And we love Steph. Steph is a lovable guy, and you want to put him in the run, and you want to start that MVP conversation. But in all actuality, in all fairness, right now the top 3 people to look at is Damian Lillard, Joel Embiid, and Julius Randle.
Okay, all right. Let me ask you what you think, Fig.
I'm gonna just go ahead and make a confession. And Steph Curry is one of my favorite players in the NBA. I just like the way he goes about doing what he does at a high level, and with the stature that he has, as an NBA player. He's revolutionized 3-point shooting in the NBA. Probably the best shooter we ever seen. With all of that said, he's not the MVP. He just can't because of the way the standings of his team is right now. I believe they're outside of the top 8, and then you have these other players who have led their teams in stats, scoring, and their teams are actually winning. as much as I love Steph Curry, I can't put him in the MVP conversation because for the one caveat that we always talk about on this show, his team is not winning.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just not winning. And now if they were top 5, you got to talk about Steph Curry because he doesn't have a counterpart right now. He doesn't have another star. Even though these other guys have other stars, he has nobody to, he has teammates, but he doesn't have another star running alongside of him. And you would have to definitely consider him as a top run if they were in at least 4 or 5, the top 4 or 5.
Okay, but let me say this.
Can't.
Let me say this. Steph Curry's team, Golden State Warriors, are just like you said, Fig, out of the South Side, they're 9th. They're 29 and 29. But the thing is what's literally getting me upset, and you know what I mean, when I look at sports and how the sports writers, we can have this conversation again at a later time, but the sports writers, they control so much, the sports reporters, because they control who gets in Hall of Fame, they control who doesn't, they control who gets this and who gets that, and that really bothers me. So now, because they're trying to create some kind of other excitement, now they're doing the same thing with Steph Curry, who is literally on a team that's not in the playoffs right now, in 9th place. So that's why I'm saying, right. Talent, I'm having issues with this whole conversation because they control who's going to make the MVP or not. Let me move on. Another thing I forgot to mention earlier today was that I don't know, did you guys hear the story about Sterling Brown from the Houston Rockets who got attacked Sunday night?
No.
He got attacked about Sunday night. Sterling Brown, forward for the Houston Rockets. He got attacked Sunday night. And he had a whole lot of facial lacerations and things like that. He thought he was going to be more physically harmed than anything else. He basically got jumped. You know what I mean? He got basically jumped. So, of course, the NBA is kicking back with saying having these NBA players go out, when they go out and everything else. They're thinking about literally having security around every NBA player as they go out, especially in times like this. So when you hear about an NBA player getting attacked, Talon, what's your thoughts when the first thing you hear about that?
Man, it disappoints me for the simple fact that, and I'm speaking from an overall entertainment angle, and you got those sports players, those athletes are in that. We want to be able to have what we call our celebrity spottings, right, and be somewhere where we end up, you never know, have a drink with this guy who plays for whatever team, or, and that's a story for somebody. That's a good moment. Oh, man, I was at a bar, just went in there after work to get a drink, and I'm drinking with Charles Oakley for 2 hours, having a good time, talking about some Knicks stuff, whatever. This is what makes that so seldom, more and more each year. Because if these guys can't feel regular safe, just an outing, whether it's somebody's cookout, whether it's a bar, restaurant, then they're going to stop doing it altogether. That's why some don't do it already. And you'll never have that, I was in Target and hung out with Beyonce story, because Beyonce know that people don't know how to act in Target. Mm-hmm. She know that if she popped up down the aisle in Target and some beehive women in there goes crazy. So I hate this when I hear these stories, because you just giving more and more fuel to the fire, more and more reason for these guys not to do normal things where that may make somebody's day, week, or year, or month, or whatever. You're gonna get these people to not want to hang out and do regular things and shy away from it, and I think that's a shame, man.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Fig, what's your thoughts?
It bothers me, man, because like Talent said, these for the fan, for the regular fan, whether it be sports, acting, comedy, whatever it is. For fans that interact with people that they admire, that do things, on a bigger stage with the brightest lights, to be able to interact with them is like a once in a lifetime experience for a lot of people. And, for somebody to come out of place and, for lack of a better description, act like an asshole and jump this person or whatever and stuff like that. It's absolutely ridiculous, man. And it, like Talent said, it would probably stop. It would give some other players, athletes, actors, comedians pause from being amongst the general public, which is a shame, because I'm gonna go back a little bit and just say I remember a time when we were all at Uptown, when the Uptown Comedy Club in New York City, in Harlem, was an underground comedy club. We used to have stars all the time, actors, comedians, New York Knicks on a Sunday night. We come and be a part of the crowd in the game. We interacted with them and stuff like that. And nobody got out of place. And they would frequent the place. And it was just such a great atmosphere in the Black community in Harlem, New York, for all of these people to converge on this spot on a Sunday night. And it was never any incidents. And those are the kind of stories that you carry with you for a lifetime. And for something like this to happen, it just lessens the opportunity for that to happen. And it's sad.
Let me ask Rodney Perry. Rodney Perry, you joined the show, man. Thanks for coming. We appreciate you. Have you heard what's going on with the topic is?
I came in on the tail end of you guys talking about, I don't know who was attacked, but how about this? Where's Ron Artest when you need him?
Great point. What we were talking about, Rodney Perry, we were talking about Sterling Brown from the Houston Rockets got attacked over the weekend. He got jumped over the weekend, got facial lacerations, things like that. And he basically said he was in for a hot second that he was in fear for his life because he was attacked. You know what I mean? We haven't seen pictures or anything like that of how bad.
What city was this?
Houston. He was in Houston. Yeah. So what's your thoughts when you hear that, Rod?
It's Houston, man. It's Houston. The problem is Houston. We've been talking about it. It's Texas. It's Houston. First of all, you gotta stay out them clubs with them thugs, okay? Houston is one of them cities that's open, and they out there. They in the strip club. They drinking. They smoking, and you're a target. You're a rich target, and these dudes will take advantage of you, and they be wanting to prove that they rich too. You in the club flashing high side. Oh, really? That's what we're doing. Get it. And so, I mean, you gotta watch your surroundings, protect yourself, and stay in circles where you can control the situation. He probably a young guy out there trying to kick it and got caught out in the wrong place. I mean, it's probably less of an NBA issue and more of a watch your back young man issue.
Yeah, well, let's be honest, bro. When these guys come in and they go back into the hood, there's a whole lot of jealousy going on with these other dudes.
Indeed. You have to be careful, man.
You got to do that. And I'm sure that their own family members and people have told them, don't go to certain places now, because especially if you flash them, you just can't do that. So I don't know. But if the NBA is considering or having these dudes that be followed by security, I think all the other leagues will then, follow suit too. And that will not be a good look, because just like Talent and Fig said, it will stop the interaction with fans. That just is going to be what it is. The next story I want to talk about is, I don't know if you all heard this, but over the weekend, Kevin Garnett has came up forward and said that he is going to have Isaiah Thomas of the Detroit Pistons fame present him with the Hall of Fame award, which I didn't see coming out of I'm telling you right now, I didn't see that nowhere near, coming like Kevin Garnett with Isaiah Thomas. Turns out Isaiah Thomas and him created a huge relationship when he was a rookie and helped him along in the NBA. So, Talent, when you hear that news item, what's your first thought of Kevin Garnett being presented by his Hall of Fame award? Now, the Hall of Fame award by Isaiah Thomas. What's your thought?
I love it. I think it's great. I think every icon, deserves an icon. Like, that to me, that's a testament to your career. I think it's very important, and it matters who hands you the Hall of Fame award. I think that matters. I think I would hate to see, L. Lawrence Taylor or somebody go up there and just some regular guy from CBS gives them an award.
Right.
When you got a slew of ex-athletes, icon, Hall of Famers who still are alive and existing, that, hey, that was my idol for whatever reason. I was a big fan of them when I first started playing basketball. Or this person gave me some advice one time that, rode my whole career with, that was excellent. Whatever it was, this person had impact on my playing and my skills and everything. I was going the wrong way. It could be anything. I love to see that. I think that's a great look. No matter how the game tries to diminish the skills of these great players, like they threw Isaiah through the ringer or whatever, real players recognize real players. I think that's dope.
Well, I'm going to just say this before I throw it to Fig. I would have thought it would have been somebody from the Minnesota, organization somebody like that, because of the simple fact that I would have thought that because they took a chance on an 18-year-old kid coming into the league, You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my thought would have been.
Nah, hell no, I wouldn't have did that. Why would you do that? First of all, I left that organization for a reason.
Yeah, but he was with them for years.
It don't matter. I left.
All right.
You can find a girl you was with for years. You ain't talking about it. Somebody don't be like that. You was with her for years. I don't give a damn. My wife is over here. Think about that.
Yeah, I thought about it. That's why I'm laughing. Big, what's your thoughts?
Listen, first off, my first thought was Kevin Garnett, a throwback to old school basketball, defensive player, a dog. And I was like, Isaiah Thomas, he fits that mold, you know, an overachiever, a dog, just. And then I was like, wait a minute. Kevin Garnett think he's slick. This is the same Hall of Fame ceremony for Kobe Bryant. Who's presenting the thing for Kobe Bryant? Michael Jordan. So you're gonna get Isaiah Thomas and Michael Jordan at the same ceremony, and you just trying to start some stuff. Kevin Garnett, you think you slick? You're trying to get Michael Jordan and Isaiah Thomas in the same location and see if you can make some stuff jump off. I think we're going to need security at the Hall of Fame celebration because there's going to be some stuff going down.
He might be right with that one, Rodney Perry, but he's one thing he forgot too. David Robinson going to be there presented to Tim Duncan too. It's going to be a hell of a Hall of Fame ceremony when we.
They've been squashed that beef though. They've been squashed.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Not since the last dance. You see what Isaiah Thomas said since the last dance? He was upset. And Horace Grant too. They probably call Horace Grant down there too. They trying to jump Michael Jordan. He might need security.
Rodney Perry, your thoughts?
To be honest, I thought like Fig. I was like, okay, first of all, mentorship is huge in the NBA, and so it's not far fetched for an Isaiah Thomas to have mentored young Kevin Garnett, and so I think we seen him paying that back. But at the same time, what if, like Fig said, I don't think it's sinister though. I think he might want to get them guys in the same room to really squash that beef. I mean, it seemed like they squashed it, but they ain't never really squashed it. Like, you know, when they had those sit downs, when they sit face to face, like Shaq and Kobe did, like, you know, Michael and Isaiah have not done that. And so what if maybe we don't see it, maybe behind closed doors, like, dude, why you do that to me, dog? You know, that Olympic thing is the only thing that eluded Isaiah Thomas, and I think he would like to have had that. And probably wants an apology, man. So maybe Kevin Garnett is trying to help facilitate that.
You know, that it's funny you all said that, but to me the thing is that Kevin Garnett he did hook on with Isaiah Thomas, but there was a player also. I forgot the guy's name. Oh my God, he played with the Celtics, but Sam Cassell. I would have thought he would have had Sam Cassell present him with it because Sam Cassell, when he came in for the Timberwolves, he brought him under his wing and he helped him and everything else. So I would have thought Sam Cassell would have been like, you know, the guy and everything else. So that's why I'm surprised that it's Isaiah.
But you know the Sam Cassell rule comes into play then.
What? What's that?
Well, you know, he can only be televised so many times a year.
You got me with that one, Rodney. Like I literally thought, I was like, what? Okay.
You know what's interesting about this? What's interesting is Amir Silly's brother, Malik Silly, had he still been alive, they were tight.
Yeah.
So that I could have seen happen. But I think we forget that all these people leave these organizations and go elsewhere. I think when you leave an organization, I think it's a little more than money sometimes. I think you factor everything in and you have your people that you really don't mess with there. You know what I mean? And I think right now, those people ain't there. And I think if you going down as a Hall of Famer, you want another Hall of Famer.
What is he taking the Boston jersey into the Hall of Fame or the Timberwolves jersey?
Good question. That hasn't been announced yet. It hasn't been announced yet. But I don't think that right now that the hot topic is going to be which jersey. I think the hot topic is like you guys mentioned, Isaiah and Michael Jordan. When was the last time they were in a room together? You know what I mean? Like that's going to be all eyes going to be on that one. Speaking of
who y'all like in a fight, Michael Jordan or Isaiah Thomas right now?
Come on. Isaiah is sweet. We know that. Come on.
Sweet.
I've seen him in person several times. I just think he's too sweet to mess with Mike right now. I just
too sweet. What you trying to say?
You know, he's a nice guy. I'm saying he's sweet. He's a nice guy.
Is he sweet or a sweetheart?
Let me tell you something.
I think you're right. I think Frank is trying to say, I think Frank is trying to say that Isaiah Thomas had sugar in his sneakers.
First of all, Isaiah Thomas, if he is sweet, you got to watch out for that right there and hit your ass. But we don't know that. He's a wonderful guy.
What's that?
That's what they hit you with. So. It's actually a great tool. It's defense, it's offense.
I wouldn't know. All right. I want to make a statement. On this date, literally years ago, I'm not sure if everybody's aware, but Michael Jordan scored 63 points against the Boston Celtics in a playoff game that he gave me tickets to that I attended. So I just want to throw that out there.
Michael Jordan gave you the tickets?
Yes, Michael Jordan gave me tickets. Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I'll tell you the story.
Yeah, man, y'all really, Frank, Talent Rodney, y'all got to get Frank by himself and let him tell you some real stories that he got about some people that Frank actually met and knows from the early days, man. Fascinating. I would never bring it up.
That didn't sound right. Y'all need to get Frank by himself. Right?
Hold on. No. Let me say this because I follow Frank Holder, and if he put one more sexy picture up on the internet, I'm done following. Frank got a little vest on.
Yeah, specially made vest, Rodney.
I'm like, what type of custom clothing? What's Frank doing?
Yo,
listen, hold on.
Hey, Rodney, I clicked on one of Frank's posts, man, that had sound. It was like, "Who is man? Is man with his brother, man?" Frank, you damn right. That cat Frank is a bad mother. Shut your mouth. Just talk about Frank. We can dig it.
I'm gonna tell my wife and all y'all. Just want y'all to know. Rodney, you know Bernadette, and Fig, you know Bernadette. She ain't gonna play that.
Hey, Miss Bernadette did a great job on that vest. I think I might have her make me.
Yes, she did.
Yeah, she looked that up. Now can we move on with the show instead of talking about the shaft stuff?
Go ahead.
My man Chris Paul is up there doing his thing right now, man. Chris Paul passed Magic Johnson. So I want to throw this out there to you all, right? If Chris Paul had went to the Lakers, where would his career be right about now? Besides the NBA championship. You know what I mean? Because he literally passed Magic Johnson. So I got to thinking, wow, if he passed Magic Johnson on those other horrible teams that he had been on, because he was on a couple of bad teams, how many assists and where would his career be at right now, talent, if he had gone to
wait, Frank, let's qualify that. Are you saying that Chris Paul, what would happen if he would have went to the Lakers with LeBron James and
no, it was before LeBron.
No, I'm qualifying it before LeBron came. I'm talking about when he came, when he literally got, when the NBA stepped in and they
stopped the trade. Yeah,
stopped the trade. Think of Chris Paul is still playing right now. He would have played with Kobe. He would have ended up playing with, he would have been there during the off years, and he would still be there right now. We're obviously playing with LeBron. So my point is, imagine where his assist total would be at right now if the NBA did not block that trade. That's my point. So, but I mean, I can literally throw a whole argument to dispute that too. But I want to hear what Talent's thoughts on that. Talent, what's your thoughts on Chris Paul?
Well, I would think that he would have at least a couple of championships under the belt by now. Had he went to the team the way they were planning it. I don't think it would necessarily affect the stats so much because he's going to get his stats no matter where he is. He's an assist point ratio dude. So that he's going to do whether you got him on the Timberwolves or the Lakers, it ain't going to matter. He's going to stack them stats because he's a solid all around floor general. But as far as the end result, I think it would be a little different. I think we would be looking at least a 2 championship point guard.
Oh my God, I cannot disagree with Talent more. I cannot disagree with you more. Talent, I'm sorry, Fig, Rodney. I gotta just say this: talent. If he had been with Kobe, when Kobe knows was balling out, Kobe got 2 extra championships before they blocked that trade, and Kobe had a couple other players. If he had got there, Kobe on the wing slashing to the basket, he would have got more. In my opinion, he would have got a lot more. He would have got a lot more assists.
A lot more assists.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Assists. Where I'm talking about where he'd be at right now. And
I don't think so, Frank. Look, here's the thing about an assist, bro. The person still has to make the shot. Is that you could pass the ball 1,000 times a game. If it ain't 1,000 shots going on, you don't get the assist. So he's getting the same assist. Is a different player. Like the only difference is this: if I'm on the Lakers with Kobe, Kobe scores 40 a game. So let's say I get 18 to 20 assists a game. I'm getting it with one guy as opposed to spreading it out with 4 guys. That's the only difference. Kobe's a ball hog. You know what you give him the rock and shoot, right? You know that, right? Okay. So all that's doing is making who I pass to consolidated into one guy more than 4 or 5 guys. That's it.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what makes his numbers go up.
No, but the numbers don't go up. You're still getting the assist. It's just coming from one guy.
All right, I hear what you're saying. We can argue about this later. Let me get the other 2 guys get their topic in. Fig, what's your thoughts? What you think?
I think, I didn't think about it like that, Frank. I mean, Chris Paul being there with Kobe Bryant and Pau Gasol, a Meta World Peace. Man, I'll tell you this. I think Kobe would even had a better career playing with Chris Paul because a lot of the shots that Kobe took was with the defense in his face. I think with a player with the caliber of Chris Paul's floor generalship, I think he would have got a lot more open shots. You know what I mean? I think both of their careers would have been, I mean, not that they look, we talking about about Chris Paul, but I think both of their careers would have been elevated just by, because they're both that, just that great. You know what I mean? Chris Paul being the floor general and Kobe, the Mamba. I think he would have got a lot of open shots playing with a point guard like Chris Paul.
Let's say this: the Lakers, when they lost to the Celtics, would have beat the Celtics with the Chris Paul there. That's one. That would have been one extra championship. That would have been one extra championship.
I don't know. I don't necessarily think that.
Okay. All right, Rodney.
That Celtic team. Do you remember that 39-point loss? You remember that?
Hold on. You're talking to me. I remember I was standing.
Okay. So I think that's a little jumping out the window to say that just straight up like that.
We can do if all day. You know what I mean? I don't know. Let me get Rodney Perry. What your thoughts are first. Then we're gonna come back to Rodney. What's your thoughts? Rodney, you're on. Rodney, can't hear you.
I'm sorry. I mean, the question is, would the Lakers have been better? Yes, of course. Their point guard play was not to the caliber of Chris Paul, and they would have been probably the second of those super teams, right? And so where we're seeing guys merge, that would have been part of that conversation, like Kobe, Chris Paul, and the league was foreseeing this coming, and they stopped it. And so I don't know if it affects his assist in the grand scheme of things, like Tyler said, but it definitely affects all of them with championships. It has to.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, this is what I know.
Say 2 things. Can I say 2 things? We talking about Chris Paul versus Smush Parker.
No.
All right.
What's your point?
Smush Parker was the point guard. We talking about Chris Paul instead of Smush Parker. Of course, I believe they win more. I'm sorry.
I don't even know.
I'm not hating on Smush Parker, but
you definitely hate
no. I'm not. No, I'm not. He's not Chris Paul. He's not Chris Paul. I'm not.
This is the fact that I know. Everybody's undervaluing the thought of what Chris Paul's doing. Chris Paul right now right now is being undervalued. Look what he's doing for Phoenix this year. Look what he did for OKC the year before. Everywhere he goes, he makes the team much better.
Hey, the Clippers, Lob City. That was
hold on 1 second. Hold on, Smush. Okay, I'll do it. Hold on. Smush said that that shit right there. Take that shit. All right, he got it. Listen, here's the thing. We all agree that these guys would get windfalls and accolades like championships. We all agree on that. What I'm saying is, I think that you're looking at the assist ratio is different and the stat ratio different because I can get the same thing done, but I'm getting it done more efficient with less tools. It's like the Knicks right now. I'm telling people about the Knicks because everybody's chipping in to make this work for the Knicks. It's not one answer. You know what I mean? But if you take a Julius Randle, put him on another power pack, stars to the team, first of all, Julius ain't going to be doing 35 a night.
Right.
They might still be getting wins and might got a better chance of going further, but the numbers, the stats don't get padded if you're on a better team, especially in that position. You got to get that rock to Kobe more than anything. So instead of giving 10 passes to 4 individuals, you give him 40 to Kobe. And if you make them, assist.
I don't know about that one, bro. I think if you keep giving Kobe the rock and Roby slides to the basket and he's scoring, your assist level go up. That's what I think. And he's not to mention he be point guard. Because other teams he was on weren't as good at scoring as the the teams that he could have been on. That's all I'm saying. I guess my point of starting this whole conversation was, can you imagine if he had went to the Lakers where his assist level would be now, instead of him just saying, oh, he clipped Magic last night. I think he would have clipped Magic years ago. That's my point.
I'm tired of this shit. Can I get a close-up on Rodney's hat, please? I'm tired of this shit.
All right, you ready? You ready? Here it comes.
There you go. There you go. Now,
that's what we can talk about.
Rodney got a hat manufacturer.
And let me tell you, Rodney hat look like he gonna buy a pair of Reeboks.
Uh-oh. Hold on. There's another close-up. Okay, Rodney. We need your hat.
That hat makes me wonder, Frank. That hat right there, with that hat. Now imagine if Fig is wearing that hat, does he get more assists?
He cannot cover his hair.
All right, y'all. That's the show. We gotta roll up out of here, y'all. Challenge everybody out there, they can follow you, bro.
Hey, y'all, follow your boy tonight on live, everything live about 10:30 tonight. My Twitter is at It's Just Comedy. My Instagram is Talent the Comedian and Facebook King Talent. Rocking out for y'all. Twitter After Dark tonight, 10:30.
Fig.
Follow your boy, Comedian Fig, at all social media platforms at Comedian Fig. Monday through Friday, your boy's right here, 1 to 2 p.m. on the box seats. Best damn sports show on TV. And check, y'all, you better get the Salsa con Fuego tonight in the Bronx and check my man out Talent. You better get there early because they're only letting in 100 people.
Rodney Perry, does your hat have its own Instagram? Because it seemed like it do.
The hat is at Rodney's hat. And it's there, it's ready for you. And I'm beginning the hat business soon. I just got in the jewelry business. I'm making bracelets and things like that. I'm gonna show y'all some. I'm gonna send each of y'all one so y'all can sport them. Bear with me.
I'm gonna take mine to do it like this.
Shut up. And so the website is RodneyPerry.com and all social media is Rodney Perry Live. Thank you. And I text you, Frank, but I saw it didn't go through the afterwards. I had an audition I had to do before I came on.
Yeah. Okay. All right, y'all. That's the show. Thanks, Rodney. Thanks, Fig. Thanks, Talent. We appreciate all of y'all for joining the show. We appreciate all of y'all for watching the show. We'll be back tomorrow. We got some more interesting conversations and some
here's Frank yesterday.
Hypotheticals. All right, y'all. We'll see y'all.